you didn't hear that? Well, it's not 3 o'clock yet. We've got 2 minutes. I'm going to have to write that one down and go home. Oh, my. I turned this book in the last meeting we had, and I got the same one back because
Like the dog ate it.
a little bit was wanting to read it. Good afternoon. It's 3 p.m. Time for the City of Chipley Planning and Zoning Commission to be called to order. The first order of business, I would ask, if you choose, please rise with us for prayer and pledge.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather. Please bless this meeting with wisdom, clarity, and productive discussion. Help us listen attentively, make sound decisions, and work together with a purpose. Guide our words and actions so our efforts may honor you and benefit others. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next order of business, I would ask for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
And seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Passes. The City of Chipley welcomes you to this meeting. This is the time set aside for citizens of Chipley to address the Planning and Zoning Commission. This is not a question and answer period. It is not a political forum, nor is it a time for personal accusations or derogatory remarks to or about the city or city personnel. If you would like to address the Planning Commission, please raise your hand to speak, be recognized, come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes, and that is per Florida statutes. If you wish to ask a question via phone, dial 9 and wait to be recognized, unmuted. If you're attending via webinar, there will be an on-screen option to ask a question during the public comment portion of the meeting. Your participation is welcome and appreciated. And we have a citizen's request. The request for the development order. Oh, I apologize. I need approval of our previous meetings of August the 28th. A motion?
Sir, before you do, neither one of them listed me as in attendance or had any comments that I made from the thing, so those need to be corrected.
On the
Both.
minutes? We got that? Okay. That being taken care of, I would ask for approval.
I make a motion we approve the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting from August 28, 2025, and the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting September the 25th, 2025.
And any corrections? Okay.
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Passes. Agenda items. We have a request for a development order for a certificate of appropriateness. You're going to take care of that for us?
Yes, sir. The City of Chipley is requesting a development order and certificate of appropriateness for the redevelopment of the Washington County Library for expansion. This property is zoned public, semi-public educational with an overlay of the Corridor Development District, which requires planning and zoning and city council approval. The property is located at 1444 Jackson Avenue and is parcel ID 00-2005-0000, and it is 11.453 total acreage. The proposed redevelopment meets all standards for uses allowed, density and intensity, and design standards for Chapter 44 zoning, Article 6, District Regulations, Section 44-163, Corridor Development District. The CDD shall consist of where the majority of commercial development has occurred in the past and where such uses are planned to occur in the future. The purpose of the CDD is to provide higher standards for redevelopment of deteriorating and/or unattractive structures and signs. The purpose also includes providing more stringent standards for new development so that such development aesthetically blends with the small city character of Chipley. City of Chipley is proposing the Washington County Library expansion of the public library from 7,200 square feet to 12,700 square feet. A stormwater impact analysis conducted by Brent E. Melvin with David H. Melvin Engineering illustrates Article 8 Stormwater Management, Section 14-188 exemptions. Number 6, any new development, alteration, or improvement of existing structures that does not increase the peak discharge rate or the volume of runoff or deposit additional pollution materials beyond the boundaries of the development. According to FEMA's National Flood Hazard Map, the northwest corner of the structure will be at the edge of the Zone A flood zone. The city has provided an elevation certificate for the project. The Griffin Road Drainage Improvement Project that will start in 2026 will reduce flood stages upstream, which includes the Washington County Library, Chipley City Hall, Chipley Fire Station, and other public and commercial facilities. This project should provide extra drainage for the area for the proposed redevelopment. The City Council review date will be November 10th, 2025 at 5 o'clock p.m. City staff recommends approval of the development order and certificate of appropriateness for the City of Chipley for redevelopment of the Washington County Library. Mr. Brent Melvin with David H. Melvin Engineering is present and would like to review this with
Okay, thank you very much.
the commission.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. I believe that provides a great summary. Would be glad to answer any questions that the commission has.
You have questions?
Yeah, I got a question. On the Griffin Road project, what do y'all intend to do up there besides put in another 7x10 box culvert?
So part of that is actually lowering the inverts of the existing culvert. So the new culvert that is going into the south will be at a slightly lower elevation in order to provide for increased capacity through that existing culvert. So in addition to having the secondary culvert there, actually being able to lower the invert of it to match up with what the west side is as it goes across into the Townsend property is kind of the twofold approach in terms of increasing the amount of flow that can accommodate and eliminate that as a bottleneck for everything that's on the east side here behind City Hall and the library facility.
What I don't quite understand about that is, you know, I've seen 2 or 3 floods here, and I stood out here and looked at all the areas back out there that's full of water. And it could possibly be because the water couldn't get across Griffin Road. I don't think so, but it could be. But if the creek's flooded out down there and there's nowhere for the water to go, how's it gonna flow into there?
Right, and you know, a lot of the flood area is contingent on what your elevations are in Alligator Creek and going out. I think most recently, obviously, with Hurricane Sally and following on Hurricane Michael, you know, you had an event that exceeded a 100-year storm event, you know, situation. I believe it was somewhere on the order of 14.5 inches or so over those 2 days. You know, based on the current engineering practices, I mean, that's where we have provided the compensating volume, and then in addition, the current library has been retrofitted with floodproofing panels on the opening, and these addition areas will also have that as well to try and help mitigate it. Again, based on the calculations looking at 100-year flood elevations, those are currently, based on the elevation certificate and our modeling it, around 79.9 or so, so around elevation 80. With the increased capacity there, you would drop that down about 8 inches or so, so it is an improvement. The current building elevation is at 83.17. So you've got some separation there, again, based on what the 100-year flood elevation is. Obviously, you can have hurricane situations that come up and arise, like a Hurricane Sally, but those are where we're trying to protect the building with using the flood panels in an extreme situation, similar to what's on the current library and then some of the retrofits or the other flood panels that have been purchased for, like, for example, the Ag Center and other locations. So a long way of saying is that based on everything that we see under normal design conditions, that's going to improve it. Not to say that we'll know exactly what can happen in Alligator Creek if we get a hurricane. That's where the flood panels are coming in and trying to, in the event that that happens, we're protecting it as much as we possibly and foreseeably can.
Yeah, I know that if all that area down below Griffin Road is flooded out, ain't nothing up here gonna flow through there.
Right, as you get across into Townsend property out through the railroad and then into Alligator Creek. Yes, sir. Right.
When the creek goes down, the water here will go out.
Right, yeah, it's all contingent. I think, again, going back specifically to what we all know with Hurricane Sally is, you still had a situation there following Hurricane Michael where we had a lot of debris in the waterways from the wind event that was the case. And then you had Hurricane Sally, which was a heavy rainfall event. So it's sort of a unique circumstance in that regard of having things that clog the creek and then rainfall that obviously is in excess of anything normal that you would have. And again, that's where the flood panels on the building come into place, trying to at least armor and secure the building as much as possible.
All right, but unless you get that water out, it's not gonna hit the city hall out any.
Further downstream is what you're speaking to. Right, yes, sir. I mean,
Yeah.
those are, again, based on, really, we've been waiting on kind of a natural degradation and that system cleaning itself out since then. Again, I think with a hurricane situation, that's obviously something that we're mindful of. And again, why we kept the flood panels on the building. Again, based on the current design standards with the floodplain and the 100-year flood elevation, that's what we're meeting and in a way exceeding it by still providing the flood panels on the building itself.
I think what's giving him heartburn and me heartburn is it what happens past the double culverts? We don't touch it, or is there anything past that to the west?
I mean, those are all private property. I know the city and the county have talked with water management, and that that's been discussions in the past. Again, in a way that there's not any scope of work that extends that far down. Based on the modeling, the real limiting factor was you've got the box culvert there at Griffin Road, which, based on the elevations and then really the width of it, was restricting the flow from actually moving out from this particular basin down into the creek to go through Townsend and out into Alligator Creek.
But if you double that capacity, what happens below? Is that what you're getting at, Jim?
No, what I'm getting at is if the creek's flooded out and all the property this side of there is flooded out, this water is not gonna flow into it because there's nowhere for it to go. It's already flooded out down there.
They're two contingent situations, yes, sir. I mean, and again, based on the 100-year, which is our design standard, and we're still above that, so we're not designing something that would be within the 100-year flood elevation. I mean, you can always look at obviously a 500-year, or a 1,000-year storm event. And unfortunately, the infrastructure that we have here is here: City Hall, police and fire, wastewater treatment plant. And so that's where, again, coming back to it is, we're not adding any runoff from this additional library project. The existing stormwater pond, and that was the exemption, that we had, is that it's still meeting the pre-versus post-discharge under normal circumstances. So I guess in a way, the off-site flooding condition is not something that would necessarily be within the control of what we can do within the scope of this project.
You're right.
So
The
the
city
best
has-
we can do, I think, right, is being aware of that, and again, trying to at least protect the building itself, as much as possible. At the same time, making sure that we're not causing any adverse impacts. And with this particular project, there's not any adverse impacts that the library expansion is causing. The question as far as allowing the water going out, the current ditch channel will allow it out and stay within that defined channel. So we're not increasing any of the discharge there under normal circumstances with Griffin Road. It's allowing it to move through faster. But again, it's contingent on what your downstream conditions are, and that's the whole watershed for Alligator Creek and moving further north. So it wouldn't cause any adverse flooding condition there. It's just what we all would have to deal with, right, if Alligator Creek is exceptionally high or we have, a hurricane.
The city also has flood panels, in case the commission is not aware of that, for events, hurricanes, flooding events. We do have the flood panels. We actually were able to obtain through grant funding after Hurricane Sally, the flood panels for the library as well as for City Hall,
Okay.
in case they are needed.
So we're adding on 5,000 square feet and not adding anything, not adding any,
So where the net comes in is removing, so it'll be removing all of the circle drive-through area and the sidewalks in the back. Basically, the net increase in the impervious area is about 2,000 square feet, but based on the modeling of the existing stormwater pond that's there, that handles that additional 2,000 square feet, so it still meets the pre versus post discharge. And then where we've got to do a little bit of fill in that northeast corner, we are excavating out a small area around the channel to provide compensating volume for it. So we are mitigating the relatively small impact that corner is having within the floodplain.
good. That's all I got.
Any other questions?
Previous to the Hurricane Sally flooding, was there any other recorded event in this area, the library included, or the city hall, where there was damage suffered from flooding?
The library, so I said the library was constructed in 2003. I'm not aware of any other flooding events where it had flooded prior to that, that I am, although, again, based on the location, if you had a hurricane, that could have happened, but at least as far as I'm aware of, I don't know that there were any flooding, or was not made aware of any other issues that happened prior to Hurricane Sally.
Good.
Questions, comments? I would ask for a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the improvement plans.
Motion been made, second.
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
I believe the ayes have it. So be it. Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments,
Yes, sir, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Always very thorough, very thorough. Is there any other business before the commission? I do have one thing that I do want to make a comment for the record. I'm wondering why we do not have a security officer here.
I actually saw an officer pull out front right before the meeting
He
started,
was
so I'm
stopping,
not
he was
sure.
stopping a vehicle that was
Okay.
speeding westbound on.
I will reach out to the chief.
That was undercover.
Yeah.
It
I
was
would,
undercover.
I would appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir.
If I could also offer information, late last night, we received a call about threats to the school system.
Yes.
Yes,
So I know they're on wide
yes.
alert throughout the county, so that might be why he's not here. And I appreciate them being at the schools.
Yes, we absolutely do. A notice or a word would be appreciated. If there are no other questions, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion is made, second,
Second.
and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
I have it. We will adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for being.
Recording